If you were to compare the land price for the project beside Dunearn House, it might seem like buying into Dunearn House is a sure win on paper, but that's not necessarily true because it's only one piece of the puzzle. Hi everyone, I'm Shalene, and today I'll be breaking down this first harmonized launch in Bukit Timah, District 11. And there hasn't been a somewhat affordable launch here for some time, so stay tuned to see whether this launch is genuinely worth considering. Like I mentioned, it definitely looks good with surrounding plots being sold much higher than Dunearn House, which transacted at 1410 PSF per plot ratio. The plot beside sold at 1625 PSF per plot ratio in April this year. Then of course you also have the Holland Link plots bidded by Simlian at 1432 and 1491 PSF per plot ratio. These are launches will likely start from 3000 to 3200 PSF, so that adds an added layer of support for future prices. But of course there are some blind spots to take note of in this area, so let's dive into it. Firstly, many agents will likely sell the Turf City transformation, and while it sounds great, you must know that not all projects in transformation zones make money, and not all transformation plans actually materialize. Like for example, Jurong, the transformation has been taking place since like a decade ago, and until now there's not much progress. So unlike a mature township, this Turf City neighborhood won't transform overnight. Of course, if it turns out like Bidadari, but in this even more prime location, that would be great. Of course, one good sign that the transformation will actually take place is that the infrastructure is already taking shape. So you have the Cross Island line that is already under construction, and the opening of Turf City MRT in 2031, that will definitely change the dynamics of this area. Also based on URA master plan, they have intended to build 15,000 to 20,000 over homes in this area, mixture of both public and private housing. So in this case, Dunearn House will be the first of this whole Turf City transformation. Now, the iconic grandstand will also be conserved and rejuvenated, and I'm not sure if you remember, but I really enjoyed going there when it was Pasar Bella. I also used to go to this area to support my friends playing touch rugby, and those of you who play soccer, that is the field that's closer to Dunearn Road. This area, I think you will have a lot of good memories. But the actual grandstand location will be considered a little bit out of the way for those who don't drive, and I guess it was hard to sustain over the last couple of years. Hopefully the plans for this area will materialize, and I think it will be interesting to see how it changes. So it's important that you need to go in with the right expectations. This isn't a project where you immediately enjoy a fully transformed neighborhood. Whether you're an investor waiting for capital appreciation or an own-stay buyer looking forward to enjoy the amenities in the area, this will be a longer-term story. First of all, let's familiarize ourselves with this location. It's located along Dunearn Road, a short 5 minutes walk from 6th Avenue MRT station. Right? Dunearn House is developed by Seki Sui House, Fraser, as well as CSC Land. You're looking at a land size of 145,000 square feet with 380 units across 2 19-story blocks and 3 10-story blocks. Full condo facilities here. You have your swimming pool, tennis court, gym. Overall, very nice landscaping, thoughtfully planned facilities that are very family friendly. You have this forest adventure area right at the front here that is perfect for families with kids, and I do think they intentionally plan for all this greenery in the front to act as a buffer from the main road. So of course you will expect that this Bukit Timah Road, Dunearn Road will be very busy. You'll definitely have to expect some road noise, especially for the units that are closer to the road. In terms of unit mix, you have your 2-bed, 1-bath all the way to 4 premium plus study. They're split into your luxury collection that makes up 62% of the units here, mostly your 2-bed, 1-bath all the way to 3 compact. These are the 10-story blocks that are closer to the main road. Then you have the Pinnacle collection. Of course, it's deliberately placed further from the main road and also built taller. These are the 19-story blocks. So expect, of course, more premium facing. You'll get nicer views here, and those, especially going for the higher floor units, I'm sure that developers will load the premium here. In terms of the views here towards the north, you get your where the grandstand is, so quite a bit of greenery from your central catchment area. Towards the south, you have your landed GCB areas and the other low-rise condos. First up on the VEP framework, you have your value. In terms of value, let's just say you're buying into Bukit Timah area. After all, don't expect prices to be cheap, value for money. The developers haven't released the official guide prices, but based on the land price of 1410 PSF per plot ratio, we are expecting the starting starting from price to be around 2,800 PSF, averaging 3,000 to 3,001 PSF. I think one point of reference will be River Modern that launched earlier this year, and the land price there was also sold at a very similar price. Now for exit strategy at Dunearn House, this may not be so simple because your buyer profile here is not the same as your typical OCR new launch. You're not targeting HDB upgraders. In areas like Bukit Timah, Holland, River Valley, the buyer pool here, it tends to attract people with deeper pockets. Your upper middle class to the higher income families, private property owners, even landed home owners. So you will also have parents who are buying for their children as well. And this is something that we are seeing more often now. Some parents are not waiting until their kids get married to buy their first home. The parents are buying these homes earlier for them because they are afraid that when their kids are finally ready to buy, they might have been priced out by then. For Dunearn House, your future buyer may not be an upgrader. It could be a parent buying for a child, could be someone from the landed enclave nearby, or it could be a family who wants the prestige of a Bukit Timah address without paying a larger quantum for the usual large freehold units that are in this area. Now here's also where we need to be very honest. Bukit Timah launches have not all performed well. If you look at projects like 4th Avenue Residences and Royal Green, the performance there has been quite underwhelming, I'll say, compared to some of the OCR or RCR projects. And of course the units here are smaller than your average Bukit Timah sizes, so it doesn't really appeal to your usual Bukit Timah crowd. And this is the key risk for Dunearn House. So you can see buying into a good district alone just for the address doesn't guarantee you strong gains. So why might Dunearn House be different? The main difference is, of course, the entry price advantage compared to the later launches and the Turf City transformation. But as I mentioned, we also need to be realistic that Turf City will definitely take some time. This is not a buy today and then you profit in 4 years' time, you sell straight away and flip kind of launch. So important question is, are you prepared to wait long enough to benefit from the transformation? Another thing to take note of for your exit strategy, well, school factor usually I wouldn't say it's like the most important factor, but over here a lot of parents buy into this address for schools. Okay, now it will likely be within 1 km of Methodist Girls Primary based on MOE school query, but don't quote me on that. We have to wait for the official announcement. We are also within 2 km Nanyang Primary and RGPS. Alright, so I won't bank on the distance to primary school, but of course schools, I feel it'll be a bonus if you end up being 1 km of MG Primary. Let's talk about the product itself, and here's where I think Dunearn House may have a slight advantage in this neighborhood. Firstly, it's the first harmonized project in this immediate Bukit Timah area, combined with being one of the tallest developments here. A number of the stacks will enjoy more open views, something which the other earlier launches like 6th Avenue, Royal Green couldn't offer because they were lower rise or others were surrounded by the existing developments already. So the landscape, it doesn't feel very premium, but I feel this is a project that's very much designed for own stay. Okay, and here's where I think that some of the unit types will struggle. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of the 2-bedroom layouts here. While they're efficient, the units here do feel a bit claustrophobic. I understand why the developer did it, keeping the unit sizes very compact. It will keep the overall quantum more attractive, especially in this district. But personally, I think they've become a little too compact for the type of buyers this area typically attracts. It actually reminds me of River Green in River Valley. To fit everything into around 600 square feet, right? Every inch is optimized, but the home starts to feel a little less livable. Could this work? Maybe. Would it be a preferred choice for people in Bukit Timah? Maybe not. The one exception is the 2-bedroom plus study, which is your show flat unit type. I think this is a much more functional layout and it offers greater flexibility for homeowners. But still, if you go and visit a show flat, you'll find that the kitchen is really very, very tight, even though it's enclosable. And you likely have to take down the study to make the space more usable. Okay, if I were buying into Dunearn House though, my attention will really be on the 3 and 4 bedroom layouts. Not like I can afford the 3 and 4 bidders here, but these are the type of units that better match the buyer profile in this location, right? Families, multi-generational households, more affluent upgraders, and parents buying for the next generation, right? They are generally looking for a home that they can genuinely live in. So it's very important that when you choose a layout or a unit type in this area, you're buying proportionate to the lifestyle that buyers in this neighborhood are looking for. I won't be going through all the floor plans, but you can DM me for the full e-brochure. But I'll focus on 4 floor plans that I think are the best to buy at Dunearn House. Now, first of all, you have your 3-bedroom plus flexi, your type C2, 936 square feet. Now you have this amazing use of space especially with a flexi room over there. You can use it as a store, it can be a helper's room. You can knock down the walls and make a larger living and dining area over there. You can turn it into a dry kitchen, lots of flexibility over here. And on top of that, you do have a full-size kitchen, enclosable with window. You have your additional WC. This is a basic of what you need in a 3-bed premium. Alright. Besides this, a very similar layout, except this also a very good layout will be your 947 square feet 3+ study. So it's quite similar to the one before, but even more amazing, they can squeeze in here the bomb shelter plus your study room that is near the master, and then you still have your full-size kitchen and WC over there. Now, very comfortable living dining area. All bedrooms here are 9 square meter, and then your master is 13 square meters, slightly bigger than the one earlier on. So I think very impressive how within 947 square feet you fit everything you need in a 3 premium plus an additional study that you could eventually combine with your master, turn it into a walk-in wardrobe. For this 947 square feet unit, if you take around 3,000 to 3,001 PSF average, you're looking at an entry price of around 2.8 plus to 2.9 mil. So that's just under 3 mil. Is it cheap? Of course not. Is it a reasonable price to enter in the Bukit Timah area beside MRT for a 3 premium? I'll say that it is something that you can consider. You think about it, at Pinery, there were people who paid for, of course, a bigger 4-bedder, but that's in Tampines, right? They are paying like 2.8 to 3.2 mil over there. So if you're looking for somewhere more central, right, you cannot accept places like Tampines, I think, yeah, this is something you can really consider. The other 2 layouts that I really like are your 4-bedders, your 4 compact as well as your 4 premium at 1184 square feet and 1302 square feet. Now, your 4 compact layout has, of course, what I like, a preferred landscape living room, which I feel is your 4-bedroom layouts here all come with a landscape living room, which I feel is very important for the larger unit types to give it a more premium feel. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, the balcony is like wasted space, but when people who are looking at 4-bedders, don't just purely look at the efficiency of space. Sometimes it's the look and the feel of the unit as well. When you have a wider living room, it also brings in a lot more light into the unit. It also feels a lot more spacious, especially when this sort of units cater to families, larger families that are using this for own stay. So you have your standard, you have both your dry and wet kitchen here, of course a larger yard area, your bomb shelter WC, and then all your standard bedrooms. Bedrooms are 9 square meter except for your bedroom 4, slightly smaller at 8 square meters, but you have a relatively large master bedroom at 14 square meters. Lastly, in this area, go big or go home, right? Your 1378 square feet, which is the show flat unit. Again, you have, like I mentioned, the landscape living, which is I think 5 meter wall-to-wall distance. Your kitchen also comes with a kitchen island, so very squarish kitchen. You have a lot of countertop space on both sides. Over here, you expect to have more premium. Over here, you expect to have additional appliances as well. You have like wine chiller provided. You have automated dryer provided for you. All right. Bedroom 2 and bedroom 3, they share one attached bathroom, and then your bedroom 4 here is also 9 square meters. All your common bedrooms here are 9 square meters, with 2 of the bedrooms having a shared attached bath, and your master here is huge at 17 square meters. So I don't think you even need to combine with the study room. I think the master itself is large enough. So if you're keen to visit the show flat, the preview starts on 10th of July. Get in touch with me, I'll send you the details. Thank you for watching. Do like and subscribe to my channel, and if you would like to contact me for any property related matters, you can WhatsApp me at 9793 7906.